What's going on, guys? Dr. Dex here from Intelligent Athletes. Today we're going to be talking about visceral fat, that sneaky, dangerous fat that hides around your organs. This is not the belly fat that you can grab. It's kind of like the deep stuff that's wrapped around your liver, your kidney, and other vital organs. But for really busy, successful guys like you, this is a huge performance killer. So first off, what exactly is visceral fat? So think about these fat cells like storage units for extra energy. Your body stores excess calories for later use, which is actually super useful for our previous ancestors when we used to live in caves. But nowadays, it's really easy for us to get food everywhere, right? Before, we might go days without any sort of meals, but now all we're doing is we're sitting more than ever. That means we're storing way more than ever. Eventually, these storage units don't show up under your skin. They just start packing around your organs, and so this is known as visceral fat. So here's a simple way to understand the difference. The fat you can pinch, that's subcutaneous fat. Not great in excess, but also not that dangerous. The fat you feel when you press super firmly against your belly, that is mostly visceral fat. That stuff is trouble. The visceral fat creates inflammation around your vital organs, it messes with your hormones, it drains your energy, and it even affects your thinking. When I worked with UFC guys, we monitored this really closely because even a small amount could actually trash their performance. Just like it can actually impact your performance in the boardroom. Let me tell you about one of our clients. He's an investment banker that we work with. On paper, he wasn't actually that overweight, but he's just carrying a little extra pounds, around 15 pounds. But his visceral fat levels were causing problems. During our first meeting, he told me something that I honestly would never forget. He closed a major deal last month, but he was so mentally foggy by mid-afternoon that I'm pretty sure I just left money on the table. So my competition just felt way more sharper in the day, and I know it's costing me. So after implementing a protocol that I'm about to share with you, James not only lost the belly fat, the visceral belly fat, he literally called me and was like, dude, for the first time in years, I closed a major negotiation later in the day, and I felt like I was operating at full capacity. And all the other guys just looked super tired. That's the power of eliminating visceral fat. It's not about how you look, it's about how you perform when it matters the most. And the good news, losing visceral fat is super straightforward. And when you attack it right, it responds really quickly. So we're gonna talk about the actual game plan that you can start to implement today. The number one thing I want you to think about is recovery, sleep. How well are you actually sleeping? How long is the actual deep sleep that you're actually getting? This is a non-negotiable. In fact, even at the UFC, one of the first things that we prioritize for all our fighters is everyone's training at a super high level. They're kicking each other's butt all the time in training. But the difference between like someone who is elite versus someone who isn't elite is literally how well they can recover so that they can continue training their technique, strength train, all that stuff. So when you're skimping on sleep, your body just cranks up the cortisol level and then the visceral fat storage. This is huge. So how can you actually start to implement some of this? First thing that you need to do for sleep is actually sleeping at the same time. This is one of the most important things. I know you might be traveling, I know you might be doing a lot of things, but if you can get consistent sleep every single night by sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time, this is going to be huge. The other thing that we want to talk about is hydration. Take your body in pounds and divide it by 2. That's how many ounces of water you need to have daily. So for instance, honestly, if you can't even do the math right now, just aim for 3 to 4 liters. That's plenty. Your liver really needs water to process and eliminate any of the toxins when you're burning fat. The other thing we want to talk about is nutrition. Guys, there's no crazy diet needed. Focus on high protein diet, especially in the morning, moderate carbs, healthy fat. Your body doesn't spot reduce visceral fat, but if you get yourself in a calorie deficit and turn your body into a freaking fat burning machine, this is how you're going to really remove the visceral fats as well. Exercise is another key, obviously, because this is how you turn your body into that fat burning machine where you can actually convert all your soft, fluffy, endurance-based muscle, turn to this fast switch muscle fiber, so that you start to operate at an athlete again, right? So strength training is huge. If you don't have a lot of time, 3 days a week, 45 minutes is plenty. This is the minimum effective dose for you to increase your strength, increase your muscle mass. The more muscle mass that you have, guess what? You become a fat burning machine. So if you don't have a lot of time, have 3 exercises ready. 3 days of training and just start to implement. That way you can start to build a little bit more of that muscle mass. So here's something that a lot of fitness experts won't tell you. Think about your body really like a high performance business operation. When we're trying to burn visceral fat, we need to make sure that the whole system is optimized, not just like individual components. Most guys try to just burn fat by cutting resources. They eat less, maybe they increase their output by doing more cardio. But if the underlying system isn't actually properly tuned, you're creating massive inefficiencies without optimal results, right? And this is what exactly happens to so many successful men. They apply their work harder mentality. I used to be an athlete, so I just gotta work harder, I gotta train harder, right? They just apply this to fitness. When what they really need is to just work smarter by optimizing their body's system. One of the best ways to do this is by tracking your progress. The way we track it is through a DEXA scan. DEXA scan is a body composition test that allows us to look at, let's just say you're 190 pounds, you're 6 feet tall, right? How much of that is actually mass in terms of muscle mass, and how much of that is actually body fat? From here, all we're gonna do is we're gonna implement a protocol, right? For us, what we do is we look at normative data. So we have a pool of 1,251 clients already, and we're probably not our first client. So what we actually do is we look at people, height, weight, ethnicity, body composition, body type, and we look at what did these people do the best. Then we implement a very similar protocol based off that top 1% into your protocol. But more importantly, we work with you to turn things into an autopilot. So understanding your lifestyle, making it very moldable. But the most important thing is this: you need to reassess. After implementing a phase, 3-4 weeks later, you need to see what the actual difference is. What if you lost 0 pounds, but you lost 5 pounds of fat, gained 5 pounds of muscle? This is super important because now you have actual data to actually support this. That is an actual home run for us. For us, if our clients lost 0 pounds, but they lost 5 pounds of fat, gained 5 pounds of muscle, we're like, dude, double down on this. What is the component of that we need to continue building, right? And then we use that data for the next phase. So having a DEXA scan is super important because now you can hyper focus on the thing that actually works. So bottom line, guys, visceral fat is dangerous, but it's not complicated to fix. Just follow these basic rules: sleep well, hydrate, eat smart, exercise effectively, be consistent. You'll not only look better, you're gonna feel way sharper, you're gonna have more energy throughout the day, you're gonna become a fat burning machine. If you want specific guidelines and guidance on how we can help you turn your metabolism up, turn you into a fat burning machine, be sure to check out our link in the bio below. Hit like if you found this helpful, subscribe for weekly content just like this, and drop a comment if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you next time.